All right, all right. Boom, just like that. What is going on, everybody? How you doing? Of course, as always, we're going to be doing a mic check. Is this on? Just to make sure that you get to hear my voice running through your earbuds. Let me know what's going on. First person to reply gets a prize on the house. Say hello. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. My name is Ozil. I am the founder of Pod Houston and also of Podcast Influence Academy, which we recently launched, and owner of Ozil Media, which is a podcast production agency where we help brands, businesses, solopreneurs, creatives like yourself humanize their leadership with podcasting. And so welcome to Podcast Influence Live. I just want to say this because we're streaming it to a different platform today. So not only are we doing YouTube, which, by the way, if you're tuning in on YouTube, hello to all my subscribers there for holding it down and supporting the YouTube channel. But also we're streaming it on my Think Ozil, facebook.com/Think Ozil1, my business page, which, by the way, who uses business pages? I was experimenting. I was like, why not? Let's put it out there. But let me know in the chat, are you using business pages? And if you catch this on the replay, whether it's on YouTube, anywhere else, let me know if you are using Facebook business pages for your podcast or for your brand, your business. Let me know. I'm curious to see. I know there a lot of people have been saying whether or not they should consider or been asking whether or not they should cancel that completely because nobody's really using business pages these days. I mean, just the algorithm is really definitely, you got to play, you got to pay to play rather. Right. So, but anyways, I digress. Like we're promoting it there. We're doing live and we're doing the damn thing. So yeah, I'm excited. Today is Message Monday. And let me know, guys, if I know we got a couple people tuned in, let me know if you can hear me. I would greatly appreciate that. Want to make sure everything's good and, everything sounds great on your end. So Message Monday, as always. And by the way, if I missed last week and I felt so bad, something came up. Unfortunately, there was some technical difficulties, actually. It was a hot mess last Monday. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to go live last week. So I do apologize for our loyal listeners, watchers, for not coming through on that one. It was out of my control, but we're back as promised. Thank you for the like. I see you. Which, by the way, if you want to comment, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and you can give StreamYard permission to post your picture, your avatar in the chat room, so I can see who's posting. But if you're in the Facebook group, I believe I can see you. So join Pod Houston. Shout out to Pod Houston, our family there. Podcast Influence Academy insiders. Get some housekeeping out the way. And of course, everybody who's following on the Facebook group. It is Message Monday, as I mentioned. This show is sponsored by Podcast Kaboom, which is a course. If you are looking to launch a course, launch a course. No, I just launched a course. If you're looking, coffee, man. I don't know if you guys can see. Look, it's just, I spilled coffee earlier. I don't know if you can see it from here. Anyways, it's been one of those Mondays. I was just like running around, dropped coffee. Actually, it was a great Monday. It was a slow start. Got it going. Had had brunch, and then I had way too much coffee. So I've been running around everywhere, apparently spilling on my t-shirt. So anyhow, this show is not sponsored by a course that's teaching you how to launch a course, which there are plenty out there. This is sponsored by Podcast Kaboom. It's a course that's dedicated to helping you launch your own podcast that blows away the competition. Podcast or podinfluence.com/free video series. Check it out. Got three videos, free videos for you to check out. If you're interested, just DM me. It's a great course, 4 video module, and this helps you from A to Z on how to launch a successful podcast. So go ahead and check it out. Highly recommend it. So let's get right into it. So Message Monday. What is the topic of today? Today's topic is the power to share. Really understanding the honor and privilege of sharing stories, the trials and triumphs of others, and having the opportunity to build a voice platform that allows you to humanize your leadership and your message, the power to share and lead. So I'm going to share with you why podcasting is much more than you think. Hold on one second. Something happened here. What happened here? Okay, cool. All right. So let me know. Let me know in the chat room. Once again, I'm still making sure that you are listening and you can hear me on your end. Before we begin, I want to share with you a story that I have for you. And it really was when this topic came to mind, I was like, what I needed to really peel back and think about examples I could share with you and stories I could share with you of podcasters that I've been in touch with, that I've helped, and see the results in helping them humanize their leadership and help them become the voice of impact and for them to become their own leaders in their niche, in their industry. And I'm going to share with you somebody who I coached back in 2018, 2017. It was actually one of my early podcast students. They were looking to launch a podcast. Her name was Tracy. Shout out to Tracy. I believe she's part of Pod Houston. She's Tracy. Won't give out the last name. She was an individual, beautiful spirit, who was living her life as a type 2 diabetic. And initially she wanted to start a podcast that was very general. And once we started kind of digging into her true purpose and who she wanted to serve, we discovered that she wanted to help others with type 2 diabetes overcome the mental hurdles and the emotional hurdles of discovering have type 2 diabetes, and giving them the tools and resources to help them live their best life as a type 2 diabetic, to live a healthy life. A lot of people who have discovered they're type 2 diabetic, a lot of them, they go through, as you can imagine, this emotional roller coaster ride of like, I'm doomed. There's, what's happening to my body, what's going to happen. There's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear, anxiety, stress. I mean, she gave me some stories, and she really wanted to focus on giving this industry, this niche, the resources and tools and the support to get through the challenges of being a type 2 diabetic. So she wanted to provide, health, recipes, etc. Beautiful. Like, we nailed it down from just like this general podcast to really focusing on a specific individual. And what was beautiful about this is when we launched this podcast, I helped her, build the brand, and we figured out the avatar, and then we built from there. She was consistent. She was very passionate about this topic, and I could tell it was coming from a really genuine place. And this was her first time building an online platform, and she was a bit shy. She did not want to be on video. So I suggested podcasting, and she reached out to me and says, I think this may be a thing. Can we see if this is a good fit? And we discovered quickly that it was, because she had a beautiful voice and she was super passionate about this topic, and helped her build this platform. And it was beautiful because, at the end of it, when we launched it, there was a light in her. Like, it was really great to see her light up. And we were able to turn this podcast platform and fulfill her dreams of making it profitable, but also bringing in the purpose behind it. So it's profit and purpose simultaneously. Like, she crushed it. And I was really proud of her. And she's still podcasting. And even now, she's launched, courses. She's doing some one-on-one coaching, which is her primary source of income. I spoke to her about a year ago. It's been a while. And I just did an email check-in just to see how she was doing. And she gave me just a great testimonial, which I have to share with you. We get a lot of testimonials for Ozil Media, and feel like from a business perspective, I have to share with them. I have to share with you a lot more of these testimonials because, people think that podcasting is just, I've said this before, plug and play, press record, publish, and then it's off to the races. But to me, podcasting is much more than that. Even whether you're a hobbyist or somebody who's building a platform centered around a business, podcasting is much, much more than that. Podcasting is an opportunity to lead, to become a leader in your industry, to build. We talked about build brand authority. But to me, brand authority, first and foremost, is coming from a place where you are of service to others. And you simply want to be someone who shares the resources and the tools and support and the interviews to help the community out. Remember, it's not about you, it's about them. If you want to grow an audience, it's about them, first and foremost. Okay. And Tracy, from the get-go, she was very passionate about helping type 2 diabetics. And it became a profitable business. She's crushing it till today. And I just wanted to share that with you because it was one of the success stories that I'm proud of. And when I was thinking about this topic, when somebody introduced this topic to me, I started thinking about the people that I've coached and have seen build podcast platforms around their vision and their purpose and their passion. And, the first person that I thought of was Tracy, because she's done a fantastic job doing just that. And I'm here to let you know that if you are a podcaster or you're launching a podcast, your voice is your leadership. It's a vehicle to bring value, to create, legacy, to make a positive impact and influence and build community. Your podcast it goes beyond, again, being someone behind the microphone and just pressing record and saying, hey, I have a podcast. Podcasting is, a podcast is your stage. It's your own ripple effect in this whole human ecosystem we're living in. So, use your voice and never take it for granted that even though you're an independent podcaster, you still have, your voice carries weight in creating that positive change and impact to the world and the community you're trying to affect. Don't think that because you're, once again, independent podcaster, or you're just starting off, that you won't make a positive impact on somebody else's life. Like, your voice really matters. And the fact that you're stepping up to the platform to whether, empowering women, who have faced domestic violence, or a type 2 diabetic, or somebody who's trying to build a business around their passion, or a mompreneur, or somebody who's just passionate about, gaming or MMA or peanuts or whatever it is. Shout out to Brian Little, or creatives. Once you step into the microphone and you commit to your voice, you commit to your schedule, and you commit to your message and your leadership, understand the responsibility you have. And that now you have positioned yourself as a leader. Now, somebody might be thinking and watching this and listening to be like, yo, Ozil, really, like it's not that big of a deal. Like, I'm just sharing my passion. But true. Okay, you may just be pressing record and just talking into this microphone and thinking that you're not making a difference in the world. But I beg to differ. I believe that when you step behind the microphone is because there's something you're passionate about and you want to connect with other like-minded individuals. And podcasting gives you this opportunity to host a party, to be able to bring people in and say, hey, I'm thinking this is the way I believe. This is my values. I want to help you. This may or may not be for you, but I'm going to invite you to the party. If it resonates, come on through. I got you, because I'm going to stay committed to my voice and my platform. And I'm going to show up on a weekly basis, on a bi-weekly, schedule. And I'm going to commit to this message. And now this gives you leverage, and this gives you a great opportunity to be a leader in that industry. So I just want to challenge you to think about podcasting your podcast much more than just an RSS feed, much more than just an MP3, much more than just jumping on social media and saying, hey, I have a podcast, check out my podcast. I want you to think much more than that. That your podcast is leadership. Podcasting is an extension to your brand. Podcasting is getting people connected to your values, to your belief system, to what you represent. People always ask, like when they press record, and one of the things that I always ask is, why would I listen to this? And that's something you should ask yourself. Why would a listener who I'm trying to attract listen to my podcast? Now, if it's just you talking to a microphone, I would say go right ahead. If that brings you self-satisfaction, press record, do your thing. But that's great. But don't complain. Don't complain when you say, zero, I'm not having any listeners. I have no community. Well, it's just because it's just me, myself, and I, man. Like De La Soul. Me, myself, and I. It's just you. An audience of one. I mean, that's no fun. Okay? Little rhyme there. I feel like I need to flow. So that is my challenge. I just wanted to have this message Monday really convey this message of the power to lead and the fact that your podcast is much, much more. And as with all leaders, there are times we don't want to show up. There's times where all the great leaders doubted, had self-doubt and felt fear and anxiety. It had moments where they did not feel like showing up to the platform. I get it. I went through the same thing. I still go through it. I felt really bad last week when I didn't show up to this message Monday because I had some issues. And I'm like, man, I felt really, really bad, because we had this whole consistent thing going. And for the people that tune in, I never take you for granted. I never take all the viewers. There's about 4 viewers on the podcast. I don't take you for granted. I don't take your time for granted, because I know I'm showing up and you're giving me your eyes and ears to listen to this message, and everybody who catches it on the replay. And as a podcaster, I want you to go into your podcast when you press record with the same mindset. Then when somebody gives you a download, appreciate that ish. Like, appreciate it. Appreciate a value. Give love to your listeners. Build them up and know that they are expecting you to show up, and you as a leader in that industry, because you have decided to start a podcast. There is a sense of responsibility you have to own up to. Now you might be like, man, Ozio, that's just too serious, man. Podcast is all that. I just started one just to have fun. Yeah, I mean, there's that component. I mean, you could just go in there and just start a podcast for fun and do your thing. But me personally, I look at podcasting as much more than just a hobby. This is the bridge. This is something where I've been able to help others, and I've been able to build a business and build friendships and relationships all over the world because of voice, because I've been committed to my message, because they know that I'm consistent and I'm committed and I'm authentic and I'm just real with it. That's how I treat my podcast. So I challenge you to think about the same thing. We got some comments here. Hold on 1 second. Boom. Stephanie says, great message. Oh, Stephanie, thank you very, very much. Thehealingfirm.com. The firms. .us. Right, Stephanie? Let me know. Shame on me. I should know. So check it out. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that. And we got Nick. What's up, Nick? Checking in. What's up, my man? Hope you're doing well. I'm gonna look forward to being on your show, brother. Couple weeks, checking out your studio. Nick is one of those podcasters, man. It's like I have studio envy. Like I see his podcast studio, much like Joe. Did you guys check out Joe Rogan's studio? You guys think Joe Rogan had a really dope studio? He did a complete revamp, and I love in-person studios. As a matter of fact, I'm right now in the stages of collaborating and being in a studio. So I'm excited because I've been really remote lately. So when I see Nick's studio, I'm like, man, I want one of those. So I'm excited, brother, to be a part of that show. Armando, what's up, my dude? This is fire 100%. Man, I tried, man. I'm trying, Armando. I'm trying to preach. Sometimes I feel like I'm just, I'm going all in, man, on these Message Mondays. But I said this before. I said, I was talking to, who was I talking to? What's a fellow Pod Houston member? Who was I talking to? I forgot. Oh, I was talking to somebody, and they're like, "Yo, you're really deep with podcasting." I'm like, "Man, I just look at it as much more than what everybody else does." I mean, there's a bunch of YouTube channels and a lot of podcast coaches out there that, are just talking, just a bunch of general stuff that everybody else is sharing. But my approach is a little bit more deeper than that. I believe that podcasting is much more than just a mic and MP3. All right. So if you believe in that, then come and follow me. All right. Armando, thank you, brother. Facebook podcast preacher, man. Maybe I need to brand myself. What do you guys think about that? Thepodcastpreacher.com, y'all. Watch out. Preaching, sharing the podcast gospel, across the world. Who knows? I like that. So thank you, man. I appreciate it. And then, man, I'm stoked. Yeah, I'm excited, Nick. Look forward to it. And then Rogan is goals. Yeah, Joe Rogan is definitely goals, man. Although I will share this. I don't know if you guys heard. My brother was telling me that Spotify deleted 42 episodes, censored him, like took him out completely. And I know Joe Rogan signed a nice, he got a nice check from Spotify, but it goes to show that, sometimes, podcasting, with the beauty about podcasting, it really disrupted the, radio, and the fact that it's uncensored, right? You get to share your message and get to do, and get to do without all these restrictions. And now Joe Rogan, we're seeing signs of how certain companies are getting involved in podcasting, and they're saying, we'll give you the check, but we're going to have some restrictions. So they took out 42 episodes, apparently. And I'm not sure how Joe Rogan feels about that, or if he's released an official statement. But yeah, I mean, it's real, and to me, I'm like, and, podcasting, that's why I believe like you should have your own website, your own RSS feed. You should definitely host it on your website, because I mean, you're as a mentor, a friend of mine said, you're owning your own radio tower. Like that's you owning your show. And now you got Spotify, making moves and pulling plugs on certain episodes that don't meet standard, guidelines. So yeah, it's real out there. But I like a studio, though. I really do. Much better. And Stephanie, I agree. This is a completely fire mess. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that. Just inspired by fire, fire inspired by fire. That's what we do. Appreciate it, Stephanie. So proud of you. Okay, cool. So I won't go on any longer. I will be back next Monday. Same time, same channel, 1 p.m. Central Time. And I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully you got some value out of it. I appreciate you guys, some of the value that you got, some of the, hopefully it challenged you and made you think that differently about your podcast. That's what I'm here for. And what else is going on? Hold on 1 second. Did I mention something else? Somebody was hitting me up. Okay. somebody DM me, ask me a question. Hold on one second. Not the podcast pasta. No? What's going on, Stephanie? No, the pastor? Not the podcast. Podcast pastor? Are you agreeing you said I should be the podcast pastor or no? Oh, no. I don't know if I could be a pastor, but like preacher. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what I'll do with that? Stephanie, you'll probably come up with something. A new brand name with that. Somebody messaged me a question. Said, Wazil, great live. Quickly, I am looking to rebrand. Is it okay if I quit my show? I have 8 episodes, not feeling the direction. Is it too early to pivot, or should I just rebrand and stay on the same podcast? Okay, so somebody was asking whether or not they're not happy with the brand. They have 8 episodes. Should they rebrand and stay on that same show, or pull the plug? Here's my rule of thumb. When it comes to rebranding, if you have a nice sizable audience and the rebrand is just making a few tweaks, then I don't see a problem with sticking with the RSS feed. However, my friend, you have 8 episodes in, and I would go ahead and just say, go ahead and scrap that podcast. Yeah. Scrap it and rebrand. That's my advice to you. I got this actually question not too long ago from somebody, and they were feeling a lot of guilt for quitting their podcast. And I mean, honestly, I want to be real with you guys. Look at it this way. A lot of when TV shows are on air, the majority of them are in the cutting room. Like some of them, there's a lot of TV networks that release, shows and series. A lot of them don't make it out the gate. And if you notice, just like, maybe one series and then they cut them. So when it comes to podcasting, there's a lot of people who launch their first podcast and they're not going to be successful. And that's just part of the game. And, TV networks and people who create content do this all the time. Like you just get back to the drawing board and rebrand and just come back with a different show. So yeah, it's okay to pivot. And sometimes pivot is just letting go of that RSS feed and then just starting from scratch. It's okay. It's okay. It happens. Excuse me. Unless it's some tweaks, then you can tweak, but and rebrand that way. But if it's a completely different show or niche, then just scrap it, delete, and then rebrand and then move on. Yeah. Don't be afraid to scrap that first show. Like a lot of people kind of hold and feel like that's a failure. And I don't believe it's a failure. I think there are times where those first shows need to be scrapped. Real talk. Like sometimes they just don't work, and hire somebody, either coach, myself, or somebody who can help you nail down the brand and your avatar and build that community and do it the right way. A lot of the times what's happened is those first shows, the brand is off, the avatar is gone. And then they have these grand ambitious goals to be Joe Rogan. And then they find out that it takes some time, to put in the reps. But I think finding out who you're, the people that you're going to serve in the community you want to build and the impact that you want to make and other questions you need to ask yourself when you start a podcast, all that you need to keep, in consideration before you go through a relaunch. So my friend, yes, 8 episodes. It's not going to hurt you. Go ahead, scrap it. And then, rebrand and come out the gates much, much stronger next time. All right. Hopefully that helps. Let me know. DM me again if you have any other questions. All right. So before we close out, tomorrow, join us tomorrow. Tomorrow's our masterclass. Tuesday, April 13th, 6 p.m. Central Time from 6 to 8 o'clock. Actually, 6 to 7 is our masterclass, and 7 to 8, we have a mastermind. Shout out to all the insiders. I'm surprised I didn't see any of you live today. Normally, I see you guys Represented. Love you though. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm excited. We have Ming Chen, who is somebody I admire on so many levels as a podcaster and as a businessman. And he's been in TV, and he just has a lot of accolades. And he's the co-owner of a shared universe.com. And he's going to be talking to us about how to build a business centered around your podcast, whether you're an audio editor or you are a podcaster trying to monetize. This is going to be the masterclass for you. So I'll make sure that I'll post a link down below after this is over. So check it out. I'm really, really, really looking forward to this one. And what else is happening? I think that's pretty much it, my friends. Hold on one second. Janu, you're late. Janu, come on. What's going on? I missed you, but great to see you. Janu's replaying for sure. Okay, cool. So catch it on the replay. And of course, I'll be seeing you tomorrow, Janu, on the masterclass. Excited about that. So I'll make sure I'll link that up. All the links. Also, where did I put that link up? Man, you know what? It got deleted. Man, hold up. Okay. So I'll say this, that tomorrow, I'm tripping. If you're interested in launching your own podcast, I do have a 15-minute free consultation. I'll post the link down below. Let's book it. Let's jump on a call. A lot of people, especially in the Pod Houston group, are already in the game. But if you're looking to rebrand, or if you're in there just learning, you want to launch a podcast, which we have a lot of people there as well that are looking to launch a podcast and looking for inspiration, reach out to me. Let's get connected on a free 15-minute call, see how podcasting can benefit you and your vision, and let's make it happen. All right. So that is that. I'll make sure I post it up. And okay, of course. Yeah, Jano. See you later, and see you tomorrow. All right, guys. That is it. Pod Houston, I love you. Thanks for tuning in. Shout out to Dwayne. Shout out to Danielle. Pod Houston team, insiders, everybody who tuned in and left a comment. And everybody on YouTube, please subscribe to Podcast Influence. And everybody who's catching this on my Ozil business page, thank you. Thank you so much for catching this live. And I look forward to seeing you next Monday, and hopefully tomorrow. Join us tomorrow in the masterclass. I'll be there from 6 to 8 o'clock. Look forward to it. Love you. Keep podcasting, keep creating, and keep using your voice of impact, your power to lead and share. Let's do it. All right, guys. Until next time. Peace and one love.